Welcome back. Today we're diving deep into a coin you might walk past every day and still miss its secrets. Today we're diving deep into one of the most iconic families of American coinage, the Liberty-themed half dollars. From the early seated Liberties to the breathtaking walking Liberty and bold standing Liberty designs, we'll cover their full history, where they were made, how they circulated, what uncirculated condition looks like, and which pieces collectors hunt like treasure. If you collect, flip, or just love history, stick around. Hit like, subscribe, and let's get into it. The 1971 U.S. half dollar, Kennedy design. Its background, why collectors sometimes call older halves Liberty types, what makes 1971 notable, circulation versus uncirculated conditions, rare error varieties, and value guidance. I pushed for clarity, dates, mint marks, composition, and added practical tips for collectors. U.S. half dollars have worn several Liberty faces. Flowing hair, capped bust, seated Liberty, walking Liberty. All showing different interpretations of Liberty through the 19th and early 20th centuries. But after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy, the half dollar was redesigned in 1964 to bear Kennedy's portrait. So when we talk about a 1971 Liberty half dollar, we really mean a 1971 Kennedy half dollar, and we sometimes mention Liberty type halves only for context and comparison. 1971 is an important year because it's the first full year the U.S. Mint produced circulation strike Kennedy halves in the new copper-nickel clad composition, 2 outer layers of copper-nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This followed earlier years, 1965 to 1970. Where the strike circulation halves had reduced silver content or special silver issues. By 1971 the Mint moved fully to clad for circulating pieces, which changed their collector and bullion appeal. In 1971 you'll see Kennedy halves from 3 main sources in typical circulation. Philadelphia, no mint mark on circulation strikes that year. Denver marked D. And San Francisco, proofs in some special sets marked S. Because the clad change was nationwide, every mint used the same new alloy for circulation strikes. Bottom line, 1,971 circulation halves are very common. Hundreds of millions were struck and most survive today in some condition, which means an ordinary circulated 1971 half is generally only worth close to face value or modestly more to collectors. However, that broad commonness doesn't mean there aren't valuable exceptions, errors, rare die varieties, or high-grade uncirculated survivors. This is the exciting part. Collectors and online sellers point to a few 1971 varieties that can be worth more than face value. Doubled die obverse/reverse and other die doubling. Some varieties exist and trade for premiums depending on severity and grade. Mint errors, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, wrong planchet pieces, and extreme die/sink errors can command sizable prices. Certain modern errors and die quirks, including reported missing designer initials or odd marks, are popular with error collectors and can spike interest on auction sites and channels. Video content and auction listings frequently highlight such error pieces. If you think you have one, compare with reputable references before assuming a high value. Here are practical value guidelines. Market prices fluctuate, and extreme grades or confirmed error pieces can change these drastically. Typically trade at or very near face value. Modest premiums exist for nicer AU, about uncirculated examples. MS, 60 to MS, 65 examples sell for a few dollars to a few tens of dollars. Exceptional certified pieces or rarer die varieties can go higher. References and price guides show ranges that span from roughly the low dollar range up to several hundred or a few thousand for rare certified variants. But the everyday MS grade piece is usually not high value. Always check current price guides and recent auction results. Doubling, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or a clearly different edge treatment. Odd mint marks or missing marks can be a clue, but many no mint mark claims are misrepresented. A pristine, well-struck MS-graded coin from a reputable service, PCGS NGC Annex, will usually bring more than an uncertified compare suspected varieties to PCGS/NGC die variety lists and price guides before buying or selling. If in doubt, get it certified. If you find an uncirculated 1971 half, handle by the edges, avoid PVC flips, they damage surfaces. Keep coins in inert holders, mylar, airtight, or archival flips. Store in a cool, stable environment and avoid cleaning them. Cleaning ruins collector value. 4 coins you suspect are errors or high value. consider professional grading. Use reputable dealers or auction houses for potentially valuable coins. For error coins, document everything, high-res photos, obverse/reverse/edge, close-ups of the anomaly. Get multiple opinions if you think a coin is especially rare before listing on consumer marketplaces. Many ultra-rare listings online are misattributed. So, is a 1971 half dollar the most valuable old and rare coin? Usually not by itself. The standard 1971 Kennedy half is common. But hidden among those ordinary coins are intriguing die varieties and rare errors that can be valuable. That's the fun of coin hunting. An ordinary jar might hide an extraordinary story. If you've got a handful of 1971 halves, check the mint mark, look for doubling or unusual marks, and don't clean them. Take photos and I'll help you examine any candidates. Liberty half dollar from 2023 inch, which does not match US regular half dollar history. Let me know and I can focus on that. Otherwise, I'll assume you meant classic Liberty/seated/walking/other Liberty design half dollars. Liberty refers to the motif of Lady Liberty or some allegorical figure. On the obverse of many US half dollar coins over US history, rather than a specific coin of 2023. The US Mint has issued many half-dollar designs bearing Liberty in their design or legends across different series. Draped bust, capped bust, seated Liberty, Barber Liberty head, walking Liberty, and others. Each series has its own history, mint dates, mint marks, design changes, and rarities. Series years minted obverse and general design metal composition major changes/notes draped bust 1796, 1807 Lady Liberty with flowing hair, draped bust. Reverse with eagles in different styles, small eagle, heraldic eagle, silver, 90%. Very low mintages in early years, e.g. 1796, 1797. Some rare die varieties. Capped bust 1807, 1839 Liberty wearing a cap, Phrygian cap. More refined designs, changes in edge, lettered versus reeded. Reverse inscriptions, half DOL. Versus 50 cents, silver, 89-90%. Many overdates and varieties. Some rare subtypes from New Orleans Mint, Mint. Seated Liberty 1839, 1891 Liberty seated on a rock, holding shield, etc. Reverse with eagle, various modifications, added stars, arrows, different motto placement, etc. Silver mintage numbers vary a lot. Coins from mints like Carson City, CC, often rarer. Some key dates very valuable. Barber half dollar 1892, 1915 designed by Charles E. Barber. A more classical Liberty head. Simpler reverse eagle silver many coins minted, but high grades and rare dates, mint marks are prized. Walking Liberty 1916, 1947 perhaps one of the most beautiful designs. Liberty walking toward sun with drapery and flag. Reverse with eagle in flight or perched. Motto In God We Trust, etc. Silver, 90%. Until silver coinage ended many rare dates and variants, especially in the 1910s and 1920s. Mint marks, PDS matter. Proof coins are also very collectible. Later/modern post, 1947 onward Liberty often replaced or modified. E.g. Franklin half dollar, whose reverse has Liberty Bell, and Kennedy half dollar, whose obverse is profile of President Kennedy. Motto Liberty still present. After 1964 silver content dropped, composition changed many issues, including proofs, special mint sets, etc. Several factors contribute. Very low original mintage, few coins struck. Poor survival, many have been melted, worn, lost, damaged. Some issues exist in tiny numbers and high grades, mint state, or proof co. Certain dates are notorious key dates, e.g. 1916, 1921 in the Walking Liberty series. Mint mark, which mint produced it matters, e.g. D. Denver, S. San Francisco, CC. Carson City, O. New Orleans, etc. Design/cutting variants, overdates, errors also increase value. Coins in circulated condition, worn, scratches, losses in detail, are much less valuable. Uncirculated or mint state coins. Full sharp detail, no wear with original luster. These fetch premium prices. Proofs, special strikes meant for collectors, often with mirror surfaces, are rarer and can be especially valuable. Even if a date has many survivors, very few examples may exist in high grades, MS 65, MS 66, etc. These are the most collectible. Proofs with special design features, cameo, deep cameo, etc., are especially prized. Older halves were 90% silver. Even common ones have melt value. But numismatic premiums usually far exceed simply metal value for rare ones. Some designs are regarded as artistically beautiful. Walking Liberty is often cited. Older coins from early U.S. history, pre-1830s, draw both historical and collector demand. 1794 flowing hair $50. One of the very first U.S. half dollars. Extremely rare in any condition. Top examples have sold for US $1,800,000. 1796 draped bust, 16 stars version. Another extremely rare early issue. Few mint state survivors. In 2023, one example sold for $1.8 million. 1797 half dollar. Very rare. Less than 4,000 struck originally. Fewer survive. Those in top condition are very costly. 1878 seated Liberty half dollar. A rare San Francisco mint issue. Few surviving specimens, especially in high condition. 1 MS 64 sold for US $200,000. 1919 D Walking Liberty half dollar, MS 66. A star piece of Walking Liberty. Extremely fine specimen sold for $270-250. 1921 S Walking Liberty. A key date for the Walking Liberty series. Very scarce, especially in mint condition. Value for high-grade specimens very high. Understanding grading and condition is essential. Circulated. The coin has been used in everyday commerce. There is where details on Liberty's hair, face, eagle's feathers, etc. will be worn down. Grades for circulated include good G, very good VG, fine F, very fine VF, extremely fine XF, about uncirculated AU. Value increases as condition improves. But even VF or XF common dates may still be closer to metal value than rare high grade. Uncirculated/mint state, MS nowhere. Strike is sharp. Luster, the original sheen, is intact. Grades run MS 60 up to MS 70 perfect. Differences between MS 64, MS 66, etc. are huge in price. Proofs, specially struck, highly polished or mirror-like surfaces, often sold in collector sets. These may have design finishes such as deep cameo, where design stands out in frosty relief against mirror background. Proofs are rarer and premium. U.S. Liberty half dollars were struck at various U.S. mint facilities. The mint mark, if present, tells you where. Philadelphia P. Often no mint mark on older coins, it was default. Denver D. San Francisco S. New Orleans O. For older issues like seated Liberty, capped bust, etc. Carson City CC. Notorious for rarity, CC Mint often had smaller productions and many coins melted or lost. Mint location affects value. E.g. in 1878, seated Liberty piece is much more valuable than an 1878 from Philadelphia. Condition/rarity tier example coins/dates approx price range. USD common, circulated.g. Walking Liberty halves from 1930s to 1940s in good to fine condition $8-$30. Often close to silver melt value for basic ones. Better circulated/EFXF/AU rare dates but in worn condition. Or common dates in high uncirculated circulated grade $50-$500 depending on date and mint mark uncirculated. Low to mid MS grades. Key dates like 1916, 1917 S, 1921, etc., or rarer mint marks likely thousands to tens of thousands of dollars. E.g. 1919, DMS 66 sold for $270-$250. Proofs or very rare early issues 1794, 1796, etc., or proofs of Walking Liberty from the 30s to 40s, etc. hundreds of thousands to over $1 million USD, depending on grade and provenance. As of U.S. mint history, there is no regular circulating U.S. half dollar with a Liberty obverse issued in 2023. The Kennedy half dollar continues, but it uses President Kennedy's portrait, not a Lady Liberty design. If you have a coin marked Liberty half dollar 2023, it might be a commemorative token, private mint product, fantasy piece, or not U.S. legal tender. It's important to check authenticity, mint information, and whether it's silver or another metal. If you can send me exact details, what's written on the coin, mint mark, condition, where you got it, I can help identify if your 2023 Liberty half dollar is real, rare, or valuable. The 1983 half dollar, since that year, used the Kennedy design. I wrote it to sound engaging on camera and easy to edit, or the Walking Liberty half-dollar, was introduced in 1916 as part of a major redesign of U.S. coinage in the early 20th century. Sculptor Adolph A. Weinman designed the obverse, Liberty striding toward the sun, draped in the American flag. The reverse shows a powerful eagle perched on a rocky crag. The result is widely regarded as one of the most beautiful U.S. coins ever produced. So much so that Weinman's obverse was later reused, with stronger detail, for the American silver eagle bullion coin introduced in 1986. The Walking Liberty series ran from 1916 until 1947, and its artistry and symbolism continue to make it a favorite among collectors and designers alike. During its production life, the Walking Liberty half was struck at the major U.S. mints of the era: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D; and San Francisco, S. Some of the most sought-after examples come from specific mint/date combos and a few unusual varieties. For example, the early 1916 to 1917 coins and certain obverse mint mark or low mintage dates are especially collectible. If you're researching a coin, always check the mint mark and compare it to known scarcity lists for that date and mint. What's the difference? Okay, what separates a circulated Walking Liberty from an uncirculated one? It's all in the details. A circulated coin shows where flattened high points, Liberty's knee, gown folds, eagle's wing feathers, surface nicks, and an overall loss of luster. Uncirculated, or mint state, coins retain the original mint luster, sharp detail at the highest points, and minimal contact marks. They look like they just came off the press. In practical terms, an uncirculated specimen of a scarce date can be worth many times the value of the same date in worn condition. Grading services like NGC and PCGS assign numeric grades, MS60, MS70, to help buyers and sellers agree on condition and value. Which Walking Liberties should you keep an eye out for? While many dates are common in lower grades, a handful are keys or semi-keys: 1916, the inaugural year; 1921, and certain mint-marked issues, rare San Francisco and Denver low-mintage pieces, can command very high prices in gem condition. Proofs and coins with special die varieties, repunched mint marks, doubled dies, are also more valuable. Auction houses have seen exceptional results for top-grade or historically notable specimens, and even worn examples of a truly scarce date can fetch strong sums. As with any series, price is a function of rarity plus demand plus condition. A quick note: if you asked about a 1983 Liberty half-dollar, that's probably a mix-up. By 1983, the U.S. half-dollar in general circulation carried the Kennedy design, introduced 1964. So a 1983 half-dollar you find in pocket change or a roll will be a Kennedy half, not a Walking Liberty. However, 1983 Kennedys do have collectible examples, especially proof strikes and error coins. And certain 1983 error pieces can be worth a premium to collectors. If you actually have a 1983 half-dollar, we can look at photos and see if it's an error or something special. Want to know if the coin in your hand is worth taking to a dealer? Start with these steps. Check the date and mint mark. Some years/mints are far scarcer. Examine the high points. On Liberty, look at the gown folds and the sun's rays. On the eagle, look at feathers. Sharp detail increases value: repunched mint marks, doubled die lettering, missing initials, FG on some Kennedys, or broad strikes and off-centers. Error coins can be surprisingly valuable. Weigh and measure if you suspect a counterfeit. Walking Liberties, 1916 to 1947, are 90% silver and have characteristic weight and ring. When in doubt, get a professional grade or at least an expert opinion. Reputable dealers or third-party grading companies will help confirm authenticity and grade. Handle by the edges, don't touch faces with bare fingers, store in inert holders, mylar flips, coin capsules, and keep them in a stable, low-humidity environment. Avoid cleaning your coins. Even light cleaning can destroy collector value. If a coin's condition seems exceptional, have it photographed and appraised before any attempt at cleaning or polishing. Segment 8. Closing and Call to Action. From the quiet grace of Weinman's Liberty to the frenzied bidding at auction, the Walking Liberty half-dollar tells a story about art, history, and the thrill of discovery. If you've got one in a box, or you find a worn silver half in a jar of old coins, slow down. Study it. Take a photo. It might be a common date, or it might be a hidden gem. Drop an image in the comments or send it to me. I'll help you identify it. If you enjoyed this deep dive, like and subscribe for more coin histories, rarity guides, and collector tips. Thanks for watching. Keep looking, keep learning, and keep collecting.